Now at 6:30, Ohio legalization activists are pushing back. More on what lawmakers want to change.
Over 1 million Americans are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes each year. Now doctors are sounding the alarm for those at risk.
And in sports, the Athens girls basketball team has a new head coach following the retirement of Phil Koska. Newswatch starts right now. It's been a cloudy and cold day in our region today. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Anna Dollenmeyer.
And I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld. Welcome to Newswatch. Our weather forecaster, Isabel Isco, is here with us. Isabel, are these gray skies sticking around, or can we expect some sunshine soon?
Unfortunately, some of this rain is going to continue into tonight. We're going to have some cloudy days for these next few days out there. Right now we're seeing on our radar this system that's moving its way through. That'll be affecting us very shortly. You might need your umbrella if you're heading outside anytime soon. Our temperatures throughout these past 24 hours, they have been on that cooler side like they were saying. We're not making it quite to those 50s here in Athens. Currently we're seeing Lancaster 49, Columbus 49. We're all throughout those mid 40s. We were at that 50-degree mark just a little bit earlier, but now we are starting to cool down for the night. Like I said, Athens 49 out there, but we're seeing some wind that's starting to take over. That has been pretty much consistent all day, and we're seeing wind chills about 5 degrees lower all throughout southeast Ohio. Currently, Athens 44 with that wind chill. As we head more towards I-70, they're seeing a little bit higher winds of wind gusts up to 15 to 16 miles per hour out there currently, and they're having those temperatures in those low 40s. Where we've had the system moving its way through that has been giving us that wind and that rain that we've been seeing for today. That is going to continue to give us some of that wind for tomorrow, but we won't be seeing that rain after we get past tonight. With that 30% chance of rain out there, our temperature low of 30, that 30% chance of rain should be hitting us pretty soon, about that 7 p.m. mark until about 10 p.m. So if you're heading out there, you might need a umbrella just for some pesky sprinkles. Not going to be having too much accumulation out there. And then these next few days, we're going to be in those about 50-degree temperatures. Wednesday, 53, and then Thursday getting closer to that 70-degree mark. But once we hit Friday, we're seeing a huge jump of that temperature high of 73. But those showers are going to be rolling in once again. I'll be talking about that in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to the desk.
Ohio legislators are trying to make changes to the state's recreational marijuana laws, but legislation advocates say the state isn't listening to them. Advocates worry that the House and Senate are only looking at the money and politics behind marijuana dispensation. Lawmakers have been going back and forth over changes to House Bill 160 and Senate Bill 56 for over a year. House Bill 160 bans smoking marijuana in public, but allows for smoking in privately owned residential properties like a front porch. Senate Bill 56, on the other hand, limits partaking only inside residences and limiting home grow to 12 plants for each household. It's unclear so far which or if any tweaks will make it to Governor DeWine's desk. A new report from the auditor's office reveals that since 2019, the state paid $1.2 million in late fees using taxpayers' money. This is because of township and village officials' recurring failures to make payments on them, mostly by part-time or elected officials. Last year alone, nearly a quarter of recovery findings were linked to late fees ranging from under $100 to over $200,000. Ohio Auditor Keith Faber wants to hold these officials accountable. He is urging for the public to report suspected fraud by calling the number on your screen.
GOP lawmakers are introducing a new bill that could allow dogs who bite in unprovoked situations to be put down the first time it happens. Representative Kevin Miller says that the Ohio law around dog attacks can be confusing because of modifications over the years. Unprovoked dog attacks resulted in serious injuries or deaths. Last fall, a Pickaway County woman was mauled to death by 2 dogs. He says this bill could change that. Miller wants to stress this only applies to unprovoked attacks. This bill would allow dog wardens to immediately seize a dog that caused a serious bite. The Atlantic published a story that is rippling through Washington, alleging Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and top Trump officials sent war plans via messaging app Signal. Laura Aguirre has more.
If this was the case of a military officer or an intelligence officer and they had this kind of behavior, they would be fired.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe in the hot seat with several lawmakers after the revelation of a Signal chat group with other top Trump administration officials and Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Both Gabbard and Ratcliffe were on the chat, according to Goldberg, but only Ratcliffe confirmed he was there. Goldberg also claims that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth discussed likely classified details of an impending U.S. attack on Houthi rebels in Yemen, which Hegseth denies.
Nobody was texting war plans.
That's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans when targets were going to be targeted.
I believe there was discussion around targets in general.
As for using an app like Signal to communicate sensitive information,
Signal was loaded onto my computer. That is a practice that preceded the current administration.
This is just a normal day at the CIA where we chat about this kind of stuff over Signal. In fact, it's so normal that the last administration left it here for us. That's your testimony today.
That's your testimony.
No, that's
Senator.
not my testimony. That's what you said.
the president and national security advisor responding this afternoon.
There was no classified information, as I understand it.
We are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
There are a lot of
U.S. officials are reacting to the findings in The Atlantic that top members of President Donald Trump's cabinet sent messages detailing operational plans about U.S. military strikes on Yemen to a group thread that the magazine's editor-in-chief was accidentally added to. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook at the White House with the latest.
The Trump administration has acknowledged that the messages on Signal, a non-government encrypted chat app, seem to be authentic, but they have not explained why senior officials were discussing national defense information outside of approved government systems. When asked about the reporting, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was adamant that, quote, nobody was texting war plans. The editor-in-chief at The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, who was added to the chat, reacted to Hegseth's comments.
No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans when targets were going to be targeted, how they were going to be targeted, who was at the targets, when the next sequence of attacks were happening. I didn't publish this, and I continue not to publish it because it felt like it was too confidential, too technical.
Top officials were reportedly in the chat, and the day after the Atlantic story published, some of them faced questions from the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence at a scheduled hearing. During that hearing, CIA Director John Ratcliffe confirmed that he was in the chat, saying that his involvement was permissible and lawful and did not include classified information. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, would not say if she was a part of that Signal group chat. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Democratic leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, is calling for an immediate investigation into the matter, calling the Atlantic story a, quote, stunning and alarming report.
The FBI is launching a task force to crack down on recent attacks on Tesla cars. Acts of violence and vandalism have been unfolding for months against Tesla vehicles and facilities, including charging stations and individually owned vehicles. The FBI is urging the public to look out for signs of a possible attack on a Tesla dealerships or Tesla cars. Now, a Tesla owner says he feels he's better as he prepares to sell his car in light of recent attacks and actions by Elon Musk.
I feel better because I was getting to the point where this was being embarrassing driving this car because of Elon Musk and the things he's doing right now. And that just, I find annoying and not acceptable.
Even though he's selling for less than a third of what he originally paid for 4 years ago, Romer is not alone. In 2025, thousands of Americans are breaking up with the automaker. Boeing wants to withdraw its guilty plea and deal with the Justice Department. The criminal case accuses Boeing of deceiving regulators before two 737 MAX crashes killed nearly 350 people in 2018 and 2019. Last summer, Boeing agreed to plead guilty to defrauding the Federal Aviation Administration. In December, a federal judge rejected the proposed deal. The Trump administration is reviewing pending criminal cases, and Boeing is seeking more lenient treatment than it got under the Biden administration. Among the possible changes, the DOJ could rescind the plea agreement or lighten Boeing's punishment. The judge overseeing the case is giving the DOJ, Boeing until April 11th to propose any changes to the deal. The DOJ and Boeing are not commenting. Americans don't have much faith in the economy right now. The conference board said in its latest survey, consumer confidence this month slid to a reading of 92.9. That's the lowest since January 2021. The survey showed Americans are expecting higher inflation this year, and more are also predicting the economy will slip to recession. The combination of weakening growth and accelerating inflation resembles stagflation, and Federal Reserve officials also see the U.S. economy trending in that direction. Coming up, DNA testing giant files for bankruptcy, what led to the downfall, and how you can keep up with your data safe.
And over 1 million Americans are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes each year. Now doctors are sounding an alarm for those at risk.
Some rain's moving in for tonight, but those temperatures are warming up this weekend. Next on Newswatch.
On American Experience, a look at the decades-long struggle for disability rights in America.
We feel like we're building a real social movement.
There are barriers every single step of the way. But we realized that people with disabilities could be a political force.
Our time has come. Pass this bill now.
Change, not charity. The Americans with Disabilities Act on American Experience.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
You think you're on one trajectory in your life, and it makes a left-hand turn.
We need each other, because this is tough.
Funk's primary purpose is to get people moving.
It can literally reach and touch you in places that may surprise you.
Michael has a big love for the world.
There's a part of him that is a showman.
I had no idea what I was doing, except that I was having fun, taking pictures.
I didn't know what a caregiver was. I didn't know what Alzheimer's was.
Everything has changed.
I know it'll be different, but I'm really hoping that we can feel connected.
When you're in the library, everyone's equal. We're a place where people come together. We need more of that in this country, not less of it.
It's been a difficult road.
We always come back.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.
I love it.
Welcome!
Whoa, Nelly!
Let's set this palace
on fire.
I love it.
Welcome to the News Hour.
What does it mean politically?
Oh, fasten your seatbelt.
I love it.
I love it.
Delighted to hear it. You make a good team.
Taking a look outside currently, we're seeing Athens at 49, some cloudy skies, but we're seeing all throughout southeast Ohio, some of that rain is starting to make its way through. Lancaster right now getting that rain. We've seen the system moving its way through our area, giving us that cloud and that wind that we've been seeing throughout the day, maybe a few sprinkles here and there if you've been outside. And this system is going to be continuing to give us rain. Currently, we're seeing parts of Circleville, Lancaster, as we head closer to I-70, getting some of those sprinkles right now. It's not giving us too much rain, and that'll be hitting us here very shortly in Athens, about 8 o'clock. That's when we're expected to be done with that rain for tonight. But out there, mostly cloudy for Athens. clouds are going to be turning into rain very shortly. 49 degrees with that wind chill, like I was saying, at 44. That wind has been coming in. Right now we're seeing winds at 14 miles per hour here in Athens. Those gusts as we head closer to Columbus are closer to that 20 miles per hour range. So they're getting most of that rain and that wind. And then here in Athens, we're kind of on that lower end of getting any of that system that's moving its way through. We're seeing this system, like I was talking about, giving that rain and that wind for these next couple of days. We're having a little bit of a break from this rain that we've been getting today in these next couple of days, but that doesn't mean that we're done with the rain quite yet for this week. We're going to continue to see that as we head closer to the weekend, but that rain, like I said, for tonight, 30% chance of rain. Most of that will be hitting us very shortly from that 8 p.m. mark, and then it'll be trailing off at about that 10 p.m. mark. So if you have any Tuesday night plans, make sure that you have that umbrella. We're not getting too much measurable rain out there, but it will be kind of pesky with some of these sprinkles out there with that overnight low of 30. Looking at 12 hours ahead, most of that rain will be moving its way through. Might have a few sprinkles as you head closer to Cincinnati. Most of this system that's moving its way through is going to be giving us more of these clouds. We're going to see some pretty high cloud cover for these next few days before we get another round of some rain. We're seeing this time tomorrow, most of those clouds will be moving its way through. This high pressure system will be coming in and clearing us out as we get more throughout the day. But it will be still about the same temperatures that we're seeing of today, still in those mid-50s. We're having that temperature of 53 for that temperature high tomorrow with that low of 30, partly sunny skies, so a little bit still on that gloomy side. And then once we get into our Thursday, we're having this high pressure system still sitting over our area, still having some clouds out there, as you'll see more as we head towards West Virginia, having some of those clouds out there. And then as we hit 48 hours ahead, we'll be having some of that rain moving its way through. And then we're going to have those temperatures heat up here. So let's take it back over the desk.
Thanks, Isabel. Great work as always. The popular gene testing firm 23andMe files for bankruptcy. This filing comes after 23andMe spent years struggling to find a sustainable business model. The company is also sparking concerns about the future of personal information of its more than 15 million customers. In a statement announcing the bankruptcy, the board's chair says a court-supervised sale process is their best option. The statement also reveals that its CEO resigned effective immediately. If you want to delete your personal information from 23andMe, you can follow the following steps on your screen. You might want to take a look at your fridge, as tonight, popular grocery store chain Aldi recalls thousands of their cheese products. Nearly 5,000 bags of Happy Farm shredded Colby Jack cheese has been recalled for possible metal contamination. Affected products were sold in several states, including Ohio. Aldi is urging consumers who have the cheese to throw it out immediately.
Health officials are making a wake-up call to millions of Americans who have diabetes but don't know it. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains the importance of knowing your type 2 diabetes risk and how to delay or even prevent the disease.
It's a leading cause of death. Diabetes is common, affecting more than 38 million Americans, but an estimated 9 million people in the U.S. have no idea they have it.
One of the main issues with diabetes and prediabetes is that you don't feel it.
Dr. Pramenda Kabandugama with Cleveland Clinic says that's why it's so important to be tested for the disease and to understand your risks so that you can take steps to manage or even prevent type 2 diabetes. While it can develop at any age, you're more likely to have the disease if you're overweight or have obesity, are age 35 or older, have a family history of the disease, or live a sedentary lifestyle. Certain races and ethnicities are also at higher risk, including African Americans, American Indians, Pacific Islanders, and some Asian Americans and Hispanic people.
By the time most people find out, if they don't go for regular checkups, they've already had diabetes for quite a few years, and then they're kind of playing catch up from that moment on.
Kabandugama says a simple blood test at the doctor's office can diagnose diabetes, and in many cases, the disease can be prevented by living a healthy lifestyle.
Whether it's diet, whether it's exercise, being able to get yourself down to a healthy weight, that these are the cornerstone of preventing diabetes.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
While pre-diabetics and type 2 diabetes often don't have any symptoms, the doctor says some patients can have signs including being thirstier than usual, urinating more frequently, and fatigue. He says having these symptoms should prompt a person to get tested.
Next in sports, a familiar face is returning to the Plains as Athens girls basketball has a head new coach, and it's definitely one you'll recognize. Find out more about the hire when we come back.
The Ohio Art Corridor is a destination experience. We would like this to be the largest outdoor art gallery in the world.
Portsmouth was able to field an incredible team for a brief moment in the sun that almost was sweet enough to get them a national championship.
We got land granted to us in Ohio. Great opportunity. Let's go. How would you know you got here? It was just sheer determination and patience and just hard, back-breaking work.
The bridge was acclaimed at the time of being an engineering marvel.
Progress is all about taking the lessons of the past and doing better. So I would hope that now that we know better, we will do better.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
WOUB Public Media is partnering with organizations across the region to celebrate Women's History Month with screenings of the independent Lens documentary Free for All, the Public Library. The film tells the story of the pioneering women behind the free library movement, while also talking about the issues libraries are dealing with present day. Join us throughout the month of March.
I'm Andrew Rowan with sports. After a year-long hiatus from coaching high school basketball, Jeff Skinner is returning to Athens as the next head coach for the Bulldogs girls team. Athens was under the direction of Phil Koska for the past 4 years, but he retired after the past season, leaving the job open. Skinner was announced as the new head coach today. His most recently coaching job was with the Alexander boys program. His tenure with the Spartans ended following the 2022-23 season. Skinner has been at Athens in the past, leading boys teams through 2010 through 2016. That tenure concluded back-to-back TVC Ohio titles with Joe Burrow on that roster. The Ohio softball team will hit the road this week as they will play Northern Illinois in a 3-game series with first pitch starting at 4 p.m. Friday. Ohio as of now is at the top of the MAC, and they look to keep the same after this in-conference matchup. The Bobcats have been impressive at the plate so far. However, the pitchers will need to bring their A game, as the Huskies have 3 players who are in top 10 for the MAC for batting average, being led by Brianna Peckman, who is number 1 in the conference with an average of .522. However, Ohio looks ready to defend its place at the top with its arsenal of 2-star pitchers. Anna Wise, as of now, is the best at the first in the MAC, sitting with a 1.61 ERA. Leaving close behind is Mikey Leaving, they're third in the MAC with a 2.15 ERA. Tuesday afternoon action for Ohio baseball, as it's another bullpen game, which the pen has been an area of concern for the Bobcats as of late. Out in Highland County Heights, Kentucky, the bats were loud once again, but Ohio's pitching got another test that ultimately resulted in a loss. Ohio started this one out well in front, taking a 7-3 lead all the way to the 7th inning, but yet again, bullpen struggles continued. Northern Kentucky stormed back and took the lead in the bottom of the 8th as the Norse held on to the lead for win number 14 on the year, and handing the Bobcats another loss in what's trending in the direction of a lost season. Ohio's football hosted its pro day earlier today at Walter Fieldhouse for a number of athletes seeking to play in the NFL. A number of pro teams had scouts in Athens, including both the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals. Notable names at the event from the Bobcats included Anthony Tyus III, Coleman Owen, Parker Titsworth, and Roman Perotti. Perotti impressed with 20 reps on the bench press, which would have ranked second among cornerbacks in the NFL Combine. He also would have placed top 10 for corners with a 35-inch vertical. Coleman Owen also impressed, earning him an invite to the Arizona Cardinals local day. Ohio Director of Player Development D'Angelo Smith says the event is an important step for players looking to go pro.
And that's not, that's something where, hey, you can showcase your talent against the bigger schools, but I think the kids just love that challenge, and they try to just put themselves in the best position. And as coaches, we just try to put them in the best position to help themselves out.
At the 2025 NFL Draft in late April. That's all we have for sports. Back to you, Charlie.
Still ahead, historic artifacts uncovered in the United Kingdom and northern lights appearing across the region. Stay right here.
Militant accelerationists are neo-Nazis who want to use terror and violence to bring down our government and create a new white ethno-state.
What's interesting about this collective is how transnational it is.
These people on Telegram were trying to stir other people to commit acts of incredible violence.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
It's time to look at our home in a whole new way. Imagine carbon stored in nature on an incredible scale. Looking after it is essential because our future depends on the future of nature.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
In the fourth year of Changing Planet, we are focusing on two of the largest river restoration projects ever attempted.
What?
One urban.
The River Seine is undergoing a colossal detox.
One wild and remote.
These dams will be completely gone within a matter of months.
Everyone knows there's hope.
It's big. These are stories of ambition and action for our changing planet.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
This weekend, people in the northern parts of the United States and the Midwest may have a chance to see the northern lights. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association say the best views will be in the northern states like Alaska and Montana. However, other states like Ohio and Pennsylvania and also the Ohio Valley as a whole may catch a glimpse of the show. The natural phenomena will light up the night sky both Saturday and Sunday night. Are we going to have some clear skies for these northern lights this weekend?
It is looking like Saturday is going to warm up quite a bit, and we might have a chance to go see these. We're seeing those temperatures, like I said, warming up Saturday and Sunday in those 70s. We're going to have some partly sunny skies before we hit that.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld, and for Newswatch.
This is Passport. Your ticket to stream complete seasons, early releases, iconic series, and so much more. This was perfect. Donate to your local PBS station and start streaming today.